yeah, like my expectations aren't really too high for Biden. Um, for me, it's just waking up and brought a moment of realization for me as far as getting out to the polls for more local elections, because those are things that I can have more control over, and that can directly affect the communities that I'm living in is local elections. So this election, and it's it's crazy to say, but this one I feel like is the one that really woke a lot of people up because now you're seeing like what us having Trump in office. A lot of that came because people didn't get out and vote or just the lack of involvement in our own local elections. And but with that whole situation, like it just brought more awareness for me for local elections more. Like I've never really been I've never really been too deep involved with those general elections, but I'm starting to see the importance of getting out here and getting to these polls for the ones that directly affect the community. There's always going to be issues, but I'm more of dealing with a lot of things locally. Like I had a friend who was murdered in her home September. Well, this was in September. She was murdered in her home, and the biggest issue that we have in this community that I live in is slumlords. The lack of involvement from police departments in cases like this. The lack of news coverage that we get in cases and things like this. The homicide rate has risen this year and where I live at. And this is actually the highest I've seen it since I've been living out here. And, the cases are not really being solved. But a lot of it is like, just community issues. Yeah, this would be a long conversation if I have to think about everything that needs to be, what I'm saying, needs to be fixed. But that's like a main concern. Like I had it was like a peace, kind of like a peace march that we had from this issue, and we had some city councilman who came out and spoke for a little bit, but he has no direct. He hasn't done anything directly to help with these issues that's going on in our community. So, even like local judges that we have, like getting out and voting, and to help with that. It's a lot. It's always gonna be something to fix, but the things that you have control over, like what I'm saying, that's why I say the local elections. We definitely have to start getting out and being more involved in that. Yeah, even creating laws like, there should be some law against, like, that's a huge issue where I live at. It's like slumlords and that whole situation with my friend being murdered. A lot of it has to do with lack of what's the word I'm looking for? Like there's no accountability being held on the landlord for what happened to her in her own home, and it's just there's a lot that needs to be changed here. But yeah, I definitely like in some way want to use my platform to even bring awareness to get people out to these locals. A lot of people don't even know when we have these local elections. Like, as far as a new judge and everything, like all of this stuff happened over the summer. No one was out there at them polls voting for that. So, these are things that directly affect us. Like this is why you have family members who are doing crazy time for, what I'm saying, like minimum things. Like, so these are things that we have to get out in the community and vote for. And there's going to always be problems even after you bring people in. But, the level that it's at now, I just hope at some point it doesn't always be at this level.